In today's solo episode, I'll talk about walking like the king or queen because it's simply worth it. You got to scale your message and build confidence, but that comes after a little bit of faking it till you make it. Now remember, before we get into the episode, if you're not part of the Just Keep Learning newsletter, be sure to join. It's becoming one of my favorite places to connect with listeners lately, especially when it comes to sharing behind the scenes of writing and publishing my first book. And don't just join, be sure to send me some emails, notes, let me know what you're up to. I love seeing you chase those big dreams, getting all the updates, and even helping solve some problems with you, or just chatting a little bit through email. All right, now today you need to walk like a king or walk like you don't care who the king is. I just interviewed a friend, Kyle Turk, on the podcast to talk all things marketing. And one of the things that we talked about was the fact that there's an overlap between great marketers and an appreciation for the hip hop and hip hop artists. There's something there that if you're a really good marketer, there's a chance that you appreciate the industry of hip hop. I'm not sure exactly what it is. There's probably a lot that goes into it. But his guess was that it has to do with the ability of people to build such powerful, magnetic brands. You think of the idea of the 1,000 true fans, the idea that 1,000 true fans really support your work will change your life. Well, this is like 1,000 true fans on steroids because it's more like millions of true fans. People that will just die to download your next record, that if you put anything out, they're going to want to support it. And there's something that all of these people have in common. Even if they aren't super confident, they show up in a confident way. Or at least they learned how to show up in a confident way. 50 Cent maybe wasn't confident when he was 11 or 12. Somewhere along the way, he figured out how to show up like he was a boss. And that probably happened before he had actual confidence. So today I want to talk about this topic. It can be a bit controversial. It's the idea of building a personal brand based around your confidence and walking with that little bit of a swagger. When a lot of people think of showing up with swag, they think of it in kind of a cringy, annoying, influencer, yucky personal brand kind of way. But we can borrow a lot from people who do this well. It's probably a whole other episode to talk about alter egos, but I just saw Jojo Siwa talking about them. I was also watching the documentary Receiver on Netflix, and they were interviewing Justin Jefferson, super highly paid, millions and millions of dollars, unreal wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. And he was talking about the fact that he's a pretty humble, laid-back, chill dude. So if he's going to sell the brand of being an incredible receiver, making money and bringing value to the team, it's only going to happen if he allows himself to believe, if he tricks himself into showing up as someone who will go do those touchdown dances and be a little bit less boring. And that came from his mom. The fact that he started doing the gritty, a dance that went super viral across social media, was because he was trying to build a personal brand that was less boring and could lead to achieving his big dreams. But it scaled his entire message globally. Little kids were doing the dance. And it came from tricking himself into doing this a little bit at a time. And I think that most of us are like this. I'm doing it right now, recording this episode, tricking myself into having some confidence to create this, put it out there, have you listen, and hope that you will do the same in whatever medium works for you. If you look at anyone who has had a major impact on others, they've done it by figuring out how to scale their brand influence. So today, I want to talk a bit about how this idea of showing up with that swagger has transformed my own life and how it can actually help you help not just yourself, but most importantly, how it can help you help others. Our swagger is really a reflection of self-worth. When I talk about swag, I don't really mean the flashy clothes, jewelry, or an attitude. It could be that too. Justin Jefferson is Jets, but I'm mostly talking about the inner belief in your self-worth, a belief so strong that it radiates outwards. You influence others because of the way that they perceive and interact with you when you are able to show up truly believing in your vision. It starts with understanding your value, embracing it, and then pouring gas on the fire to scale it. And this is what I love about business, about a media company, about content creation, is the scalability. You could post your third video, you have like 22 followers, and maybe 22 million people see it because it strikes a chord, pops an algorithm, and all of a sudden your message can scale exponentially. But if all you do is sit in your basement or lie in your bed and write your ideas in a journal without ever sharing them, without having the confidence to show up publicly and put yourself out there, then there is no scalability. And if you think that you are capable of only modest achievements, then that's what the world will reflect back to you. A really important thing is that if this is what you want, if it's truly what you want, then great, you've got this. Now, a lot of people will say, though, that they don't have big dreams when they actually do. So if you're someone who believes that you are capable of influencing a lot of people, loving every minute of it, and scaling that impact, then others will start to believe in your vision too, because they need a guide. They need your wisdom, and they want to follow you, but only if you're willing to lead. Now, it's not luck. Luck is a thing, and luck is actually a very powerful thing. It does exist, but it's not the most important factor. If you look at anyone who has started from the bottom, now they're here, anyone who can tell the story of they weren't raised with money or cheat codes about how to be successful, they had to figure some things out on their own, go try them, gather some mentors and guides, and really piece it all together for themselves, going on that personal hero's journey. And now they can look back and tell you what they did. And if you look at any success story like that, you will see that there was not a lot of luck involved. Believe me, luck is not enough to carry you through all of this. In fact, for most of us, it's probably bad luck that is actually holding us up. And for example, a story that I don't like to talk about a lot, but my personal finances, I was close to, quite reasonably close to figuring out investing, to being a millionaire and owning multiple properties. But at this point, right now, I don't have anything to show for those investments, for that moment in my life. And I'm back to the drawing board of figuring that wealth equation out. There are so many times, it almost makes me cry thinking about the fact that it would have been easy to give up because of this quote unquote bad luck. But it's better that I decide, it's better that you decide that you're not going to let luck be a factor, that you are willing to take full ownership. What you want to become the main factor is refusing to limit the growth of your self-confidence. You want the main factor to be that you finally embrace the value that you can bring to others. And I know, no matter where you are sitting listening to this right now, that you're wondering what value you can bring. Sadly, some of you wondering if you can bring value. And the answer to that is a stone cold yes. You can bring great value to a lot of people, but building confidence is what will play a huge role in the success of your bringing that value to people. So let's talk about confidence specifically for a second and kind of where it comes from. When I think about confidence, two people come to mind. They are extremely polarizing, and one is really extremely popular, the other a little less pop culture relevant, but immediately they both come to mind for me. Some people hate them, some people love them and cheer them on, and some people are jealous of them and probably not really too much in between. We see this a lot with big figures who have a lot of influence. They are extremely polarizing. You don't have to look any farther than an election to see this. And quick side note, like any human, both of these people have great things about them. They both have shitty things about them, and they probably have stuff in the middle. I'll start with sharing the story of the less popular person, Amanda Frances. You likely haven't heard of her. She wrote the book Rich as Fuck, More Money Than You Know What to Do With, and she shows up daily for her millions of social media fans, sharing the fact that she is, quote, a repetitive, unrealistic goal achiever. I love that tagline because so often we're told to be more realistic, when in reality, for some of us, that may be the case. Like, I don't think you're going to beat Elon Musk in the race to Mars. If you are sitting there thinking that you are, then perhaps, sure, you need to be more realistic. But for most of us, it's actually the opposite. We need to be a whole lot less realistic. We need to pour the gas on the fire of our big dreams and just take steps in those directions. Amanda talks about how much she actually liked her work previously, traditional jobs, 9-to-5s, and many things about the idea of climbing a career ladder, but that she felt capped in two specific ways. One, financially, and most importantly, in terms of the impact that she could have on the world. The other person I wanted to share that's super popular is Conor McGregor. And the dude can be an asshole in many ways. He's punched an old man in a bar, been abusive to many people, and really blurs the lines between playing a character and living an evil life day to day. It's kind of hard to tell who he is as an overall person, but there is no better example. I mean, maybe Donald Trump, I'm not sure, but no example better than Conor in terms of a decision to achieve a goal, a very unrealistic goal by society's standards, and to go on a hero's journey to achieve it, and then not only achieve it, but absolutely smash it out of the park. This isn't an endorsement of who the dude is in the other 99% of his life and character, but in that 1% where he decided to be confident first and fill in the blanks later. Both of these experts, Conor and Amanda, their ability to manifest things and then figure them out is something that I personally have struggled with throughout my life, hoping to be picked or that the cheat codes will land in my lap somehow, or looking at others who are achieving similar goals that I have and wondering why they're better than me. In reality, they're not. The key is actually making a decision to be confident and take action, then keep going. That's our blueprint. And this was kind of a funny thing. Before I give you some extra tips on tapping into your own confidence, I want to share what my AI gave me as the top 10 names when I asked, who are some people that seem super irrationally confident in pop culture? And I wasn't far off with some of the things I've mentioned today, because here's the list in order. Kanye West, Elon, Donald Trump, Conor, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, Madonna, and Gordon Ramsay. Every one of these people developed their own high value mindset, how they would bring value to the market in some way, shape, or form. Confidence and self-esteem are really closely linked to being able to bring this high value mindset, but they're not the same. Self-esteem is the foundation, your belief in your overall worth as a person. And it starts with establishing that self-esteem, just believing. Once you believe, you can build self-confidence. And that's more of an action-oriented thing. The true belief that you can succeed in whatever you set your mind to based on your foundation of self-esteem. So, as an example, when I first started this show, I was not confident at all. In fact, that was probably the case through the first 100 episodes, but I knew I had to push through that stage. And it wasn't easy. It's simple to keep going, but it's not easy because I really felt out of place. Tapping into growth mindset, knowing that you're going to suck before you're getting good, is the way that I was able to continue to take steps. And one of the most listened to episodes on this show is when I was playing clips of Ed Sheeran talking about how bad he was at singing in music when he first started, and that he just continued to move forward, and now everyone thinks that he's great. He talked about the fact that really all of this is just math. How many at-bats do you take? Then you're going to hit some home runs. The key to all of it is to embrace the idea that it's okay to not be the best in every area throughout your life, that you only need to be great in a few areas. And if you choose to focus on those strengths, while perhaps as an option developing your weaknesses, but either way, keep going, that you will continue to stack wins and build real confidence. I really remember not long ago when all I felt like I could do was stack L's. To get back to stacking W's and building confidence, you are not that far away. And it brings us back to this concept of swag. Assigning high value to yourself is about more than just confidence. It's about a decision to believe in the way you want to show up. And I want to make an important distinction. It's not about posting mansions and cars and vacations. It's about believing in the value that you bring to others. To believe that you are just as worthy of success as anyone else out there. Instead of walking into a party and wondering, I wonder if people will like me. I wonder if they'll think I'm cool. You step into every situation thinking, I wonder if I'm going to think that the people here are cool. And you don't have to be a judgmental dick about this. It's just about shifting your mindset toward your self-worth, regardless of skills or talents, and shifting from hoping to be accepted to just being unique, being you, trusting in your own path, and not worrying about what other people think. Because confidence will come later, but it starts with walking like the queen. And this is because confidence doesn't just appear overnight, it's built through action. It's important to take steps, big or small, that align with the person that you want to be. One practical tip is to look back on how far you've come in the last few years. Just as you set goals for the future, reflect on what you've already done. Remember how capable of that progress you are. And you are even more capable of progress than you were before. The other thing is that confidence is infectious. It spreads from one person to another, so you need to put yourself in environments that lift you up. Surround yourself with people who inspire and support you, and you will feel more and more like you're part of the team who wants to achieve all of this personal development. It can be really like a positive addiction, which is probably a whole other episode. But I can remember learning this concept of walking like a king. It was when I first started training in fitness. I'd look at people much bigger, faster, stronger than me and think that I would never be able to get there. But then I read an article and it changed my life. Guess what it was called? It was written about 20 years ago by a guy named Chris Vaughn, entitled Walk In Like the King. So the next time that you post something, create a landing page, go to a meeting, or like I did, walk into the gym or on a sports field, you walk in like you are the queen or the king. It's not cockiness, and there is a difference, but walk in with that swagger that you want. Walk in as a boss. Why? Because someday you will be. Any goal that's worthwhile takes a super long time. I think of people like the bodybuilder Chris Bumstead, podcasters like myself or Pat Flynn, personal brands like Mel Robbins, or business owners like Melanie Perkins, who started Canva. And these overnight successes actually took us a really long time. In all of these cases, like 10 to 20 plus years and counting, because it's an infinite game. It goes on forever. But one of the things that speeds up the process that makes it feel like time flies by is living from day one, right from the get, like you're the king or queen of whatever you are building. Because every one of us started somewhere. No one that you see crushing it right now was born as the best of the best. They started small, just like the rest of us. They worked to become the best as countless people fell by the wayside. How many ideas do you think they tried before they started to figure things out? How many people doubted them day in and day out? Any of those people that I listed could have tons of stories, I know I certainly can, about how they questioned giving up, but kept going. And the truth is, it doesn't matter how many times. The point is, they've definitely made it. Even if they were often alone, felt like quitting, or were stumped about how to figure out the next step and keep going, I think it came from believing, even if they didn't know how, in what they were working on. Keeping the moon in the window and perhaps landing among the stars. So many of your peers will give up after just a couple tries, but not you. You will set a goal, crush it, and then move on to a place that right now you can only dream of. All right, there you have it. Believe in your self-worth, walk like the king or queen, and you will build confidence. I really love when people in the JKL community ask questions, so keep them coming. Fire us DMs, replies, or comments about topics that you'd like tackled on the show. I've done so much learning about how to succeed in the creator economy, and I'm sharing it all with you. Speaking of which, I recently made a commitment to help our newsletter audience more. I'm going to do more bonuses, giveaways, and Q&A for people in this group. And like I said at the top, it's just been fun to talk with people through email. You can sign up at newsletter.justkeeplearning. I've taken every creator course and read every business book under the sun, put things into practice, and now I want to share everything with you. I appreciate all of you so much. Until the next episode, all the best, and remember, just keep learning.